In the winter of 1953, in the Brooklyn borough of New York, a boy was born into an ordinary family. His name was Jeffrey Epstein. At that time, no one could have imagined that this child would one day become one of the most controversial and mysterious figures in the world. His family was middle class. His father worked for the city's parks department, and his mother was employed as a school aide. He grew up in the modest surroundings of Coney Island, where the sea breeze and small apartments shaped his early world. From childhood, he was considered academically bright. He had a particular interest in mathematics. Teachers described him as a sharp-minded student. He graduated from Lafayette High School and later enrolled at Cooper Union. After that, he attended New York University, but he did not complete his degree. This fact later surprised many people. How did someone without a college degree rise to the heights of the financial world? In the early 1970s, he began teaching mathematics at the prestigious Dalton School in Manhattan. This marked a turning point in his life. The students at this school came from wealthy and influential families. It is often said that this was where he began building connections with the elite. After a short time in education, he left teaching and entered the financial sector. He joined the investment bank Bear Stearns.
This was a period when the glamour of Wall Street attracted ambitious young professionals. At Bear Stearns, he worked on tax and investment strategies for wealthy clients. Securing such a position without a college degree was unusual. Yet in 1981, he suddenly left the company. The real reason behind this departure has never been fully clarified. He then started his own firm, J. Epstein & Company. He claimed that he managed assets only for billionaires. However, the identities of his clients remained largely a mystery. Gradually, his lifestyle began to change dramatically. He purchased a massive mansion in New York City, considered one of the most expensive private residences in the city. He owned a luxurious estate in Florida and a vast ranch in New Mexico. Most notably, he bought a private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands called Little St. James. This island would later become central to the scandal that brought him global infamy. Throughout the 1990s and early 2000s, his name became associated with world leaders, business magnates, scientists, and celebrities. Politicians, academics, and members of royal families attended his gatherings. His private jet, later nicknamed by some in the media as the Lolita Express, frequently transported high-profile guests. Names such as former U.S. President Bill Clinton, future President Donald Trump, Britain's Prince Andrew, and Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates were reported in connection with his social circle. It is important to note that the appearance of these names does not constitute proof of wrongdoing, but their association raised public questions. In 2005, a complaint was filed in Florida by the family of a minor who alleged that she had been paid to give a massage and was then sexually abused. As authorities investigated, more young women came forward. Allegations emerged that teenage girls were recruited with promises of money, asked to provide massages, and then subjected to sexual exploitation. Some victims claimed they were pressured to engage with other influential guests as well. These accusations compelled local police and federal authorities to take action. In 2008, a controversial plea agreement was reached. Under a non-prosecution agreement, he received only 13 months in custody, with a work-release arrangement that allowed him to leave jail during the day. This deal drew widespread criticism. Many argued that it reflected a failure of the justice system and suggested that his powerful connections had shielded him. Notably, victims were not properly informed about the agreement in advance, which fueled public outrage. For several years, the case appeared to fade from headlines, but the voices of victims did not disappear. Investigative journalism and civil lawsuits gradually brought new details to light. The name of his close associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, also surfaced. She was accused of helping recruit and groom young girls. By the time the case returned to major headlines in 2019, it was clear that this was not merely the story of one man, but of a broader network. In July 2019, he was arrested again in New York. This time, the charges were far more serious: sex trafficking of minors. The news sent shockwaves around the world. Prosecutors stated that authorities had discovered large amounts of cash and explicit materials during searches. The case dominated national and international media coverage. On the morning of August 10, 2019, he was found dead in his jail cell in New York. The official ruling was suicide. However, the circumstances raised questions. Reports indicated that surveillance cameras were not functioning properly and that guards on duty had been negligent. These factors fueled numerous conspiracy theories. Some speculated that, given the high-profile names linked to him, he had been silenced. Official investigations concluded that his death was a suicide, but doubts persist among segments of the public. After his death, court documents were unsealed, and additional names became public. It is crucial to emphasize that being named in documents does not equate to criminal guilt. Nonetheless, the disclosures reinforced the perception that his network was extensive. A compensation fund was established for victims, and many women came forward to share their stories. They described how they were drawn in at a young age through promises of money and opportunity, only to find themselves exploited. Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted in 2021 and sentenced in 2022 to 20 years in prison. For many victims, this was seen as a step toward justice. Yet numerous questions remain unanswered. Who were his true financial clients? Did he possess compromising information about powerful individuals? Clear answers to these questions have not fully emerged. The story of Jeffrey Epstein is not only about alleged crimes. It is also about the complex interplay of power, wealth, and influence. It demonstrates how an individual without traditional credentials could rise to extraordinary heights through networking and opportunity. At the same time, it highlights how the presence of power can complicate the pursuit of justice. His life was marked by contradictions. On one hand, he portrayed himself as a philanthropist who supported scientific research and maintained relationships with prestigious universities. On the other hand, he faced grave allegations that shocked the conscience of many. This contrast deepened the mystery surrounding him. Even today, his name resurfaces whenever new documents are released or public figures address the matter. His death halted the criminal proceedings against him, but it did not end the questions. For many observers, the case became a test of accountability within powerful circles. Ultimately, the story underscores a difficult truth: wealth and influence can sometimes obscure the path to justice. Yet it also shows that victims' voices can eventually break through silence. Jeffrey Epstein's life stands as a cautionary tale, one of meteoric rise and dramatic fall. The boy who grew up in Brooklyn, who entered Wall Street without a degree, who acquired private jets and islands, ultimately died in a prison cell. His story remains etched in history as a chapter filled with unanswered questions, controversy, and enduring lessons about power and responsibility.